Greetings! Welcome to Airgoons. My name is Octochin and I'm going to show you how I start up the Ka-50. If you've seen any of the other tutorials that I have done, you will know we are going to start with the electrical system. We're going to flip up our battery covers here for battery 2 and 1. We're going to flip those back down. I'm going to go ahead and start up the generators as well, even though they won't actually turn on until the engines are spooled up. But that way they'll come on once I do that. Next, fuel pumps. We're going to turn on our forward and aft. If you happen to have exterior tanks on your pylons, you can use your inner or outer switches here depending on where the fuel tanks are, but we don't have them, so we'll skip those. Next is our fuel quantity gauge. We want to go ahead and turn that on. It's this gauge right here, and that'll let us know when we're going to get low on fuel. Next, we're going to turn the fuel shutoffs off, so that way we get fuel flowing, and we're also going to start the fuel flowing to our APU so we can start our engines. Now that that's done, we're going to move over here to this side. Down here, this black balled knob is our rotor brake. We want to turn that off so the engines can actually start up. And while we're over here, we're going to start our APU. We're going to click the start button. This right here is our selector for what we're going to start. It defaults to APU. It's in the center. See? So we're going to go ahead and hit start, and our APU is going to start up. This light over here will come on, and the temperature for the APU will start going up. And while it's doing that, what I like to do is I like to turn on all these nice little switches down here. This is for our weapon system. This is for our ejection seat in case we need to bail out. And these are for your radios, data link, all that other good stuff. I'm also going to go ahead and turn our master navigation switch to operation. We're going to go ahead and turn on our data link as well. Then we can go back over to this side. The APU is now started up, so we're going to go ahead and left click on this for our left hand engine. We're going to fuel shut off, turn that off, and then we're going to hit start. So now our left engine is going to start spooling up. This is the RPM for the engines. You can see the one needle going up. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the ABRIS because that takes a second to warm up and turn on. I'm going to turn on my master arm because that's just me. I also like to turn my targeting to manual instead of auto. We're going to go over here. I like to use radar altimeter hold just in case I ever do it. That'll let you, fly over little hills and stuff, and should keep you from crashing most of the time. And while that first engine is spooling up, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn on this switch right here for our fire extinguisher. I'm going to turn on our IFF because we don't want to get blown up by an F-18, but we still will anyway. Turn on our nav system. You can turn on your lights as well. This is your anti-collision light. Here are your blade lights, nav lights, NVG lights, stuff like that. Since it's daytime, I'm not going to worry about them. I'm just going to worry about our engine control. I'm going to turn on both EEGs. And then we're going to go back over to the other side. As you can see, our first engine is at idle. So we're going to go ahead and start up the second engine, which is this other cutoff valve switch. Switch that to right hand and hit start. And then you'll see this number 2 needle start to move up. And that is our second engine starting. We're going to go back over here to this back panel. We're going to turn on our INU. If it's cold out, you can turn on the heater for it as well. We're going to turn on the LWS power switch, and we're also going to turn on the UV26 power switch. If you're like me and you like to mess around with stuff, I like to turn on our little signal flare system just because. This is one of the radios. It's the preset one, so if you have a mission maker that sets it up to use preset 2, you'll do that, and then you'll hit this tune button, and that little tuner light over here will come on as it's tuning. We're not really going to get into the radio system all that in depth right now. Your other main radio control is over here for the frequency. You can set this to UHF or VHF, so that's handy. You can also go ahead and turn the volume of that radio up and down with this volume knob. It says ADF volume, but that's also for the volume for that first main radio. So what we're going to do now is we are going to press and hold right control C to close this door to get it nice and quiet in here. And by now our second engine is matching our first engine RPM, so we are at idle. And what we're going to do is we are going to come down here. These are your throttle controls. They are default bound to page up and page down to do both of them at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press page up twice, and that will put them into auto mode. I can press page up one more time to just give it max power all the time, but auto is fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shut off our APU, which is this circle, red circled button right here. That'll shut off our APU. You can see the temperature over here going down. It's off, but we're also going to want to shut off the fuel flow to it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that APU fuel switch back down and turn that off. Now, since I already started up my generators at the very beginning, everything is powered up, ready to go. We've got our HUD up here. Sometimes if you're quick about this, like I usually am, the HUD isn't warmed up yet, so you'll get done with everything before the HUD actually gets on. But since I took my time, it's on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this button, or this switch right here, the KO41. You're going to flip that up, and that's going to turn your weapon systems on. So now my TV screen is on and everything like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my radar altimeter warning light and buzzer to be 20 meters, because that's just the way I am. And we're going to go down here to this voice warning control. This is your Betty, right here in front of the stick. We're going to go ahead and flip that on, so she can tell you to watch Ekron. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our pitch hold, our bank hold, and our heading hold. And that is all we're going to do right now. If you want, you can hit waypoint 1 and 2, 3, depending on what's already stored in here. I'll get into navigational stuff in a later video, because right now nothing is programmed in there. And that's all there is to starting up the Ka-50 helicopter, and you are ready to fly. Thanks for watching.